Hey everyone, welcome into our latest Trade to Black podcast. I'm your host, Shad Dales, and today we're diving into a critical question. Can U.S. cannabis stocks face another market crash? Look, this isn't all doom and gloom, but let's face it, there are some companies in this space that are vulnerable right now. As we know, the cannabis industry has faced unprecedented challenges, and with that, cannabis reform needs to happen. Why? Let's break it all down. Let's first begin with one of the biggest hurdles for the cannabis industry, and that's the lack of access for banking services in senior stock exchanges like the NASDAQ and the New York Stock Exchange. Because cannabis remains a Schedule I substance under federal law, these companies are excluded from traditional financial systems. This has led to cannabis stocks hitting all-time lows, with many struggling to stay afloat. Without reform, the industry is stuck in a vicious cycle of limited capital and mounting debt. So how did we get here? Let's take a look at the political landscape. Under the Trump administration's first term, cannabis policy was largely hands-off with a focus on state autonomy. However, former Attorney General Jeff Sessions rescinded the Cole Memo, which would have provided some protection for state legal cannabis businesses. This created uncertainty and slowed progress. Next, during the Biden administration, they showed a more openness to reform, with the Department of Justice proposing rescheduling cannabis to a Schedule III, but progress has been slowed and the industry still remains in limbo. Former Attorney General Merrick Garland took a more neutral stance while in office, emphasizing the need for research and regulation. But despite these efforts, both federal legalization and marijuana rescheduling remains elusive. So let's talk numbers now. Back in 2021, cannabis stocks were riding high. The biggest companies in the space, Trulieve, Cresco Labs, Green Thumb Industries, Curaleaf, and Verano, were trading at impressive levels, fueled by optimism and around federal reform. Fast forward to today, and the picture is starkly different. These stocks have seen significant declines, with some losing over 70% in value. Why? The lack of banking access and federal reform has left these companies vulnerable to market volatility. Further to that, some industry experts are warning that this could be the beginning of the reckoning. With limited capital and increasing debt, many smaller cannabis companies may not survive the current conditions. This has led to speculation that fewer and fewer cannabis stocks will remain in the market. The need for cannabis to be rescheduled is more urgent than ever, but the timeline remains uncertain. But there is optimism that is building, because interestingly, some insiders connected to Trump's circle believe that cannabis reform is on the horizon. They argue, and it's common sense, that rescheduling or legalization could provide the industry the lifeline it desperately needs. And oh, would that be a game changer? While these hopes are encouraging, the industry cannot afford to wait much longer. Reform must come fast to prevent further decline. So the big question here today, can U.S. cannabis stocks survive another market crash? The answer lies in federal reform, banking access, and the resilience of the industry, which it has proven time and time again. Look, it's a tough road, but with the right changes, there's still a lot of hope for recovery. So that's it for today. Thanks for tuning in to our latest Trade to Black podcast. If you found this episode insightful, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this video with your network. Let's also keep the conversation going, so leave some comments below. We'd love to get your feedback. And until next time, as I always say, stay open-minded, stay connected, and I'll see you next time on our latest Trade to Black podcast. I'm your host, Shad Dales, and thanks everyone for watching.